Hi, I'm Char, and I can't cook jam. But Maureen Atkinson, my friend, is going to show us all how to make what kind of jam?
Well, it's going to be apple and blackberries from Usk, and a little bit of Saskatoons that I have left over.
Ooh, lovely. And here we have a lovely fall day. What is this bush here?
This is it's fall, so
Yeah.
all the fruit is gone,
Yeah.
but it's a Saskatoon bush, and as we have in the Northwest, as through most of Canada, we've got lots of Saskatoons, so-called service berries.
Service berries.
Yeah.
And where do you, so you said you got about a bowl full from this tree? This
Yeah,
bush, this
yeah,
year.
and they're nicer when they're smaller bushes, like more accessible.
Oh, yeah.
But also, people used to prune them, and
And where do you go picking the other Saskatoons?
anywhere.
Just like
in
around
terrace.
town?
Yeah, around town on the south side in particular. Lots of places where there's
Like empty lots or ditches?
yeah,
Or?
empty lots. Looking for places that are not so exposed, so they don't get the dust and stuff. Because you do wash them, and then I freeze them on a cookie sheet, so they freeze whole.
So you just put them on a cookie sheet, freeze them?
Yeah, wash them.
Wash them, yeah.
Put them on a cookie sheet.
Yeah.
And put them in the freezer. And then
On the cookie sheet?
on the cookie sheet so that they freeze individually.
Yeah.
Because if you freeze them after you wash them, they're just one big
Glob.
So
Yeah.
you put them in the cookie sheet for 2 or 3 hours in the deep freeze, and scrape them off, and then so they're individual. And I'll show you what they should look like if we had more of them. But
Okay.
I can at least show you the individuals.
And this is a new tree here?
Yeah, I got this apple about 2 years ago, and from a local vendor, and mostly because I just wanted another shade tree. But it's
so you might
different
as
than
well
the
get
one that
fruit tree.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And it's good land. Do you know what its qualities are, or?
Well,
didn't you
it's
worry
more
about that too
a northern apple. I do have a Granny Smith that comes on later in the season, and that's the one that we'll be making some of the apples of today.
Okay. And one squash.
One squash. It's late in the season.
It's not very
but we
big.
didn't get it. Yeah, no.
Okay. Sweet peas are still going.
I have some other flowers that only started blooming in June or in September.
Oh, late.
Yeah,
lovely.
So those little asters, or I think they're asters. I don't know. I just planted the seeds and hope for the best.
Excellent. No fear gardening.
No fear gardening, and not really maintaining gardening either.
And this is?
It's a yellow plum, but I have yet to. I planted this the same time as that apple tree, and the apple actually came back, but it got ravaged by the whatever the worms were this year.
Oh, so it says pollinate with a Nanking cherry. So
Yeah.
you need a cherry tree.
A cherry tree, and I was hoping that I could, in the neighborhood, but the cherries didn't.
No,
there
we
was no
didn't-
cherries
no,
this
we,
year. So.
No, we didn't get cherries this year.
And this is one of the really, really old apple trees. In the horseshoe area in Terrace, there was orchards, right?
Yeah.
So they
Almost every backyard has fruit trees.
yeah. So
old
this
fruit
is a
trees.
this tree. We've had this house almost 16, 17 years, and it was an old tree when we moved in.
Right.
So it's kind of hit and miss. I have pruned it over the years, rather vigorously, like taking limbs off. But
It still looks good.
it's
not
okay.
cracked or anything.
no, it did okay this year. Despite the worms, which ate
Like
that
the
apple tree in that one.
things
Yeah,
in the spring.
yeah. So, surprisingly enough, we got some really lovely apples. We've picked a lot of the lower ones, but the Granny Smiths, they're really the skin is quite thick. So it's not until this time that they're actually kind of ready.
Oh, I see.
coming
And the
on.
transparents are ready earlier. And
Much
they're-
earlier,
they're-
yeah, like the end of August.
And they don't keep well.
No. So yeah, we do have a ladder, but this can give you an idea of. I mean, normally we can just do windfalls, but this gives you an idea of when you pick right off the tree. How beautiful is that?
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's a beautiful apple. And same with this one. Look at that.
Wowza, wowza.
And they're great for just snacking on, like throwing in kids' lunches when the kids are smaller.
Right, they're nice
when
and
they actually,
crunchy.
yeah,
When they actually ate fruit.
when they actually ate fruit.
Okay, good. Are we going to go inside and start working on
Yeah,
these?
let's do that.
Okay. Here we are inside Maureen's lovely kitchen.
Well, thank you, Char.
And we've got all kinds of jars. What's going on here? Which is best, or
Well,
what are
there
you
is.
doing
It
here?
depends on who you're baking or making the jam for. I like to give them as Christmas gift. I mean, you've got your fair share, and your mom in-law,
Right.
June, for seniors, smaller jars, I was hoping that Pat would get me some of like 100 mil, but this is, your basic mason jar. You can buy them in as a flat if you want to buy them brand new. I like to reuse jars too if I have the extras. This is.
I thought they had to have this special two-part thing for canning.
Well, yeah. So for the jar, the glass jar, you sterilize the glass jar, and then this is the secondary piece, which is the lid, but it's sealed, right? When when the jam is prepared or anything that you're canning is prepared, you'll watch the lid to make sure that the seal is there. Otherwise, if you can make that sound,
Yeah.
it's not sealed and it won't preserve the stuff, so it'll rot.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know, like you'll
right,
have
right, it's
fermented jam in a few weeks.
Right. Oh, okay.
So that's the two-part system, or that's the two-parter that you talk. But anything that you buy at the store, whether it's salsa or pickles, those kinds of things, they've gone through this process of sealing.
So you can actually reuse these in the sink?
Yeah, and unlike members of my family, when they have a problem opening jars, they will sometimes break the seal, punch a hole in it, and then the air. It's a vacuum process, right?
Okay.
So
This is all sciencey.
it's to prevent botulism.
Right. Yeah, that's important.
So so the seal is
those
there.
will seal, okay.
It'll seal, but it has to be hot enough. So that's why you have to boil the jars beforehand to make sure you're sterilizing them. And then when you put the material, whether it's jam or salsa or anything that you're making, you have to make sure that the food product that you're trying to preserve is not around the rim, because any bit of little external air will prevent the vacuum.
Oh, I see.
So these were some that I did a couple weeks ago. We're not going to be. I think I opened that one already. Anyway, you're not supposed to have a seal, and I'll show you later what the finished.
I can't
looks
make
like.
it make a sound.
Okay, well, it did pop down for me, but
Okay.
okay. So and then this is an old classic jar that I got more for the look at a secondhand store, because you can buy
Made in Canada.
brand new, but unlike back in our mom's day, people just reuse glass
Oh,
jars.
yeah. And this one has a glass.
A glass lid, and you would have to have. You see this in this. You've got the rubberized seal around there. Normally, you have a rubber ring that would go.
Oh,
And then
yes.
it would-
I remember that.
And then it vacuum seals it. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to use this today because I don't have an actual
rubber
the ring sealer. But just if you're looking for a more, old-fashioned type of look,
Yeah.
then you can use those old-fashioned jars. Yeah, but you can do a variety of sizes and different shapes. They come in. This is like a 15 or a 500 mil. This is 250 mil, and you can get smaller that are like 100 milligrams.
Right, and those are good for gifts.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because then you can do them
Yeah.
2 different flavors or whatever.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So we're going to do a few of these, and just to try this out so I can show you that
Okay.
you can reseal
All right.
a commercially produced jar.
I will believe you at that point.
Okay.
So are we going to boil these now? What's the next step?
Yes.
Okay.
Fun. Okay, so then you just put the jars and the lids in the water.
Should I do all of these or?
I would say I'm going to do these two so we can get a different size. These, and
Just
maybe
tell me
3
when
of
to
those.
stop.
Well, I'm just wondering how many we're going to need. It's okay. We can always reuse them again, right? So 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 of those. Okay. That's good to get us moving. Now, and we could add some more water to that in a bit, but it's okay for now. So next I want to.
Are we going to cut apples or?
We can cut apples, but I also wanted to show, since we've got that counter going, some of the other produce that we're going to throw in here. My daughter made a smoothie with most of the Saskatoons earlier, so we don't have that many Saskatoons.
And what are these?
These are blackberries.
And are these local as well?
Yes, it's kind of like the mushroom picking.
There's a season to it?
There's a season, and it's also local sources. So I can tell you that these come from us, and they're wild. So they're blackberries that have gone wild. Blackberries gone wild. But they are a domestic blackberry that sent out runners and
some old
moved
farmhouse or whatever.
Yeah, from about 30, 50 years ago. And on Vancouver Island and down in the Lower Mainland, this is called the Himalayan blackberry. And so it's not a berry that would grow normally in northern BC.
Oh,
it's an invasive species,
okay,
actually.
but we like them anyway.
Yeah, they're good. Okay, so a lot of people measure a lot. I don't. It's more of that instinctual type of baking, so you just want to throw those in there. Others, I have made Saskatoon jam, but because the Saskatoon is quite a seedy fruit,
Yeah.
I would boil them up, make like a mash, and then strain them so you get the juice off, with cheesecloth or whatever.
Right.
And then the seeds from the blackberries sort of complement.
Okay.
But you don't have the real pulpiness of the Saskatoon.
When it's only Saskatoon.
When it's only Saskatoon, or even half juiceberry, which is like a blackberry or a raspberry. Remember the raspberry family, so it's got quite a lot of juice in it naturally.
Right. Liquid.
Whereas these have, like, I don't know, they're a bit more chewy.
Chewy.
Yes.
Excellent.
But it's a different flavor than a blackberry or a raspberry, which can be quite overpowering.
Okay. So that's why you also
And
add
that's why I
apples?
add the apples to sort of bring up the pectin level.
Because there's pectin naturally in
Yeah,
apples?
well, there's pectin in every fruit,
Oh, okay.
but some have more than others.
Okay, and apples have lots?
Well, it seems to work.
Okay, okay, good. So are some of these going in there too?
Yeah. So that's about. Well, we do have a measuring cup. Let's see that.
You don't have to measure.
No, I know, but I'd kind of like to know what the ratio is of how many of this to that. Okay, so because it's important when you're adding, if we were to add sugar, but we're not going to add sugar. So that's maybe 1.5 cups.
Yep.
1.5 cups of raspberries in the pot.
I'm sorry, I just have to eat some of these
Yeah,
apples
go
that
ahead.
we just picked.
Why don't you feed our camera
Oh
crew
yeah,
here?
I'll have some for them too.
Okay, and so these are my, oops, okay. So I'll do the same, 1.5 to 1.5 of berries, and then, which makes 3 cups, right? And then
Right.
we'll do the same with the apples. And I have some, because I liked, the skin on the Granny Smith is quite thick, and if we were to add that in the jam, then you'd just have peel.
Right.
So I've pre-peeled some apples
Oh,
to
excellent.
throw in. Okay. But I'm going to put these on the stove now. Because this will take a while to,
You just added a wee bit of water there.
just a wee bit of water so it doesn't stick, and it gives it a bit of a, I don't know.
A flotation
It's a
basis.
flotation device. Okay, Char, this is just going like clockwork. Look, I feel like Graham Kerr. Look, I put
Except there's no wine.
Leave it for 6 hours and bring it out, and oh look, it's prepared. So we'll just let that go for a minute, and I'm just going to cut those. Actually, maybe we'll measure those.
You
to see.
Do it here.
And I have
Just dump 'em
included. Yeah, sure. So they're mostly the Granny Smith apples, but I do have a couple of these other apples too, which are, I don't know, I think they're like Spartans, but they're from up the street. Windfall. All local fruit that falls from the tree.
too. Because all I'm used to is transparents, and those aren't very good. That's nice. That reminds me a little bit of crab apples.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the every tree is different, right? That one's looking a little green actually.
Is this a transparent or a
No,
Granny
a Granny Smith.
Do you have any transparents?
No.
No, good.
Because they're not the season. I would have processed them already, the skin
Oh, right,
is.
because they're ready in September and we're in October now. Just have some taste tests here for you guys.
Oh, okay. That's why I'm smelling gas. My gas stove sometimes isn't liked. All right. And this is when it really sprays out food. Step back. And so any large pieces are now reduced.
Pulverized.
I don't know if it's so good to do it when it's like an electrical appliance and
No, that's love.
but
Because people use it for
Yeah.
to clean soups and stuff.
so there it is. Oh, there's another apple chunk. Here, have a go. I think that's all the jars. You see how pureed that is now?
Oh yeah.
So there's the
Oh.
right down.
Right down.
Yeah.
Also requiring wrist action.
But if you do it from the shoulder, it's not so bad. Okay. There, now that looks like jam. It doesn't look
does.
like compo.
That's a beautiful thing. Is that good?
Yeah.
We're done?
Yeah. Good. That, just go right in the sink. Okay. So,
And
do you
do
think?
the lids stay in there until we're ready to
yeah.
use them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, if we can just move those around a bit. Now I will give this another few minutes. Okay, now I'm going to try this again. Actually, I'm going to give you try it again. See, that looks more like jam.
Beautiful. And you haven't added the pectin.
No, not yet, but I'm going to do that.
What am I tasting for, Mo?
I don't know. Just to see how it is with those pieces broken up a bit more.
That's a very nice texture. It's a little chunky. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if we give it another 5 minutes.
So you're
Like
just
this.
putting the whole
Yeah.
thingy, the whole packet.
Yeah. And maybe it'll firm it up. I don't know. Here's hoping. Otherwise, it's just going to be whatever it's going to be.
Oh, I see this has 2 packets in it. Water, pectin, citric acid, lactic acid, potassium citrate, sodium benzoate.
All natural chemicals,
They're all from Earth.
as opposed to
Mars.
Pluto.
Yeah, Pluto. Refrigeration helps maintain freshness. So I guess, is it sort of like yeast in that it's sort of alive or no?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just like a. I won't say it's like a glucose, but it might be.
No, it's not, because it's 0 carb. It's 0 everything. It's 0 calories, 0 fat, 0 carb, 0 protein. So we don't know what it is.
Right. Okay.
You put more honey in.
I did. You can only have 1 jar anyway. But for the rest of the folks who might want a bit more. Okay, so that looks like jam to me. Okay.
Oh, yep.
It's a little bit runny, but we'll just let that boil down and
Should I
then
put the lid on?
Yeah.
It's kind of spitting.
Yeah. Okay. But that's looking kind of jam-like.
It's very jammy.
And because the other thing is I'm afraid that I'm going to boil it down too much so that it'll just stick to the pan and it won't.
Oh, yeah.
Like you'll lose all
What do
those
you think?
goodnesses.
Have a look, miss.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it is starting to stick a bit.
Yeah, and that's good because that is setting. But it also,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so that's a good sign.
I think it's at the beauty
Okay.
spot. Right
Okay.
here, the sweet spot.
Okay, the sweet spot. Okay, so let's haul this. Actually, we can just take that off because then any excess, right. Okay, so here is what it looks like now. I don't know if you can see that any good, but anyway, that's going to go in there.
And you said it's important not to get any food on the
well, you can
rim?
try. I mean, it's an impossibility.
Oh, you just wipe it off then?
Yeah, you just wipe it off, but normally with a cloth that I would dip in the hot water so that it's somewhat sterile.
Oh, okay.
Or a clean cloth. But that's, the closer you can get the...
Rummage.
Yeah, I mean, I sometimes will take,
Okay, perfect.
actually, can you hand me the tongs?
The tongs.
Any set of tongs that have been in the water. Nothing else. Okay, good. No, sometimes I'll do it this way, where I'll have it on the oven mitt, and then I'll just scoop it right over top so it doesn't get, have more precision. Oh yeah, that's jam-like.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
And then is there a sciencey thing about how full the jar is and how much air you leave at the top?
Maybe half a centimeter. It depends. I mean, it depends on how much jam I have and how far I need to make it go.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so if I have like 5 people that I still need to do Christmas for, I will. It's a guesstimate, right? So this is okay. There's, let's get these full and then we can, we'll wipe them down before we put the lids on.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
¿Cómo quieres que te quiera? Si el que quiero que me quiera no me quiere como quiero, no me quiere como yo, no me quiere como yo. Ay, qué paciencia la mía. No me digas que no, ya no me creo tus mentiras. No me digas que no.
And then, so we know that this water is, just knocking off the chunks. Don't have to get too worried about the inside. Just it's more of where the even the rim. Yeah, it's where the seal, the plastic thing. Here, I'm not going to use this one. Where this rubber, not plastic, rubber is going to sit on the rim of the
Can't be food
of the
there.
can. Yeah.
So there's, yeah.
Yeah. I just wiped a bunch on it.
Oh, you put some on.
I did.
So this, you're not
Yeah.
doing your usual no fear. This, you have fear of botulism or whatever.
Well, I like them to seal.
Yeah.
And if they're not sealed, then I have to either reboil them and then rejar them, or
Then-
just use them right away.
Right.
Okay.
And that's not the point of canning. Canning is to preserve.
Yes.
Okay, a little bit on here still, I think.
Yeah. Okay. That should do it. All right. Now, again, not sticking my hands in hot water, but also because of the sanitary factor, I just take the lid, put it on.
Okay.
¿Cómo quieres que te quiera? Si el que quiero que me quiera no me quiere como quiero, no me quiere como yo, no me quiere como yo. Ay, qué paciencia la mía. No me digas que no, ya no me creo tus mentiras. No me digas que no.
Goes on. That's good.
And I see you didn't go, "Arr."
No, because you got to leave some air for, like, you can tighten it after you've sealed it again, or like, because these now have to be boiled. I technically you don't have to do that. It should be that the vacuum of the, as it cools down, things contract in heat. No, expand in the heat and contract in the cold.
Oh, so the contraction of the cooling should
do it. Okay. I mean, but I like to boil it again just because then I know that the seal is fine. Okay. I'm not going to worry about that one. And we'll just do these 3.
And did you tighten that?
Well, this one we don't have to tighten again because it's what we're watching for is for that to go down and for these to go down. See, right now?
Oh, I see. You just gave it a twist, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
You shouldn't do that after it's
You don't want to hear that sound.
No. I'm actually going to put them in a smaller pot because then they'll boil faster.
I've got tongs here.
Okay.
Oh, and you want the mix?
No, it's okay. I can get it in. That's not going to be big enough. I don't know what the heck I was thinking. I'll do this one. Go through a lot of pots. And that takes 4 quite nicely. Oh, see, did you hear that?
Did it pop?
One did. Oh. I think it was that one. Anyway, we'll just let it go for a few more minutes. And I'm going to try this.
Are they ready?
I think so. It's been maybe 3 or 4 minutes of a real good boil.
Okay.
So let's see how the water's, just by opening it, the cold air made it contract.
Oh.
So, and once it's sealed, that's it. You don't have to, and if it doesn't, well here, let's just do that. So what I like to do, so there you have the boiling water in the hot water bath, and I'll just, there's another one. Okay, but our tester, this one, with the store-bought jar, hasn't sealed yet. But so this is just a pan of cold water, and it's like an instant contraction.
Okay.
Right? Like it'll make the. It's like when you get, a bucket of cold water sealed on.
Oh, I see. Okay. Ah.
Yeah. Yeah, not yet. And it might be that we don't have enough jam to, like, there's too much air in there. Yeah, not yet.
So that didn't seal, but the others have?
Yep. So it's very different than the sound it was making before. And that's really hot.
Yeah, that feels hard, solid.
There's no give in the lid. So there you go. There's 3. And so if it doesn't seal right away, it might just take, an hour or 2 for the cold, like for the product to cool down enough on the inside because there's enough internal heat in here
There's
from the
a
jam.
lot of jam in there.
Yeah. So I'll just
set it
aside and we'll see. But it should work. But again, it's a bigger space.
Right. More jam and more airspace.
Yeah. And that's it.
Thank you so much, Maureen.
You're
This has
welcome.
been great.